If you're looking for affordable content that everybody uses in ASSETTO Corsa, look no further. Hi, I'm Random Callsign and welcome to a new video. The Japanese pack was released in May last year with version 1.6, and since then it has been probably the most popular DLC for ASSETTO Corsa, and for good reason. Because it's so popular, I think it should get the same type of overview that the Porsche packs received. With this pack, a lot of popular JDM cars are available, and if you go to play in multiplayer, it's featured front and center in a lot of servers, including the very popular Nordschleife tourist servers. It's also not uncommon to see various Toge servers up with these cars. As it is an older DLC, oftentimes you may find it with some sort of Steam discount. At the moment it is £4 or €4 or $5, but with the amount of cars you get, it seems like a good deal. But if you wait for Steam sales, you'll even get a better one. The cars that come with this spec are the Mazda MX-5 ND, the Mazda MX-5 ND Cup, the Mazda RX-7 Spirit R plus a tuned version, the Toyota Supra Mark IV with a time attack and a drift version, the Toyota 86 Trueno with a tuned version and a drift version, then the Nissan 370Z Nismo, and finally the Nissan GT-R R34 Skyline V-Spec. In total you get 6 models and 12 cars if you count the variants. So let's check them out to see how they perform, how they look like. Let's start the overview of the Japanese pack with the Mazda MX-5. It's the first of the list, so why not? Turning off the traction control, I think it will be better. I'm driving here at Miyagi. I'll be leaving a link to ASSETTO Club below. You can download a few tracks from there. There's more than that, than just Miyagi. There's also Akin over there. You can download other stuff too. But tracks like this are suitable, best suitable for cars like this, nimble cars. Because this car is not about outright acceleration and speed, it's about doing corners. And doing corners is what this car does in a way that I think beats most cars in ASSETTO Corsa. The front tires pick up a line, you accelerate, and the car goes that way. There's very little understeer in this car. The car is very neutral. The understeer only appears if you are overspeeding into a corner. The oversteer is very controllable. Even if you accelerate too much, you can basically catch it with no problem whatsoever. There it is. Let me try to do something like a power slide. It's not the car for drifts, but you can actually do some silly stuff to it and break the front of the car, of course. But in short, in terms of agility, the car is outstanding. Just need to make sure that you know the track. I don't know Miyagi, so failing a lot. In terms of force feedback, probably the weakest link of this car. And it's probably because of the real deal. I think the real car has a electronic steering column, so it kind of feels artificial. A lot of weight from center, and the weight is very constant. There isn't a lot of weight change when you steer, so that will give you a strange feeling when doing the corners like this. In terms of sounds, it's kind of meh. Graphics wise, you can't really complain about Kuno's graphics. They're probably one of the best. This is a very strong car from the pack, and we'll do Miyogi like it was nothing. And we're basically at the end of the first track, and we'll be seeing you on the next car. Okay, next up it will be the Mazda MX-5 Cup. It's basically the same car that you have in iRacing, or the same model. And essentially this is just a cupified, I like that name, cupified version of the road car. So you have the roll bar. I'm doing a race against the AI, because this car is made for this kind of stuff. Essentially the engine is left untouched, I guess. Same power delivery according to the spec sheet, but it weighs now 908 kilos, so it drops almost 100 kilo from the road going version. So this makes this car really nimble. Now, this is purely my opinion, and I've said this before in multiple times, in multiple videos. I think this car is the strongest car of the pack. This one specifically. I really enjoy cars like this, basically race versions of road-going cars, but that they aren't like bonkers fast. In the Porsche pack one, I enjoyed the Boxster, or was it the other one? The name... What's the name of... Oh, it's the Cayman. I think it's the Cayman Cup. I really enjoy that car. And I do enjoy the GT3 versions of the Porsche 911s, the GT3R and the GT3 Cup. I do enjoy these types of cars. Now, the handling of this car, if the MX-5 was already good, this one is like godlike. The car bites the front. The front of the car bites it very well. Bites to the road very well. You can just point it wherever you want to go. It's nimble and playful. The force feedback now, it's lighter. It doesn't seem as obnoxious as the one in the Mazda MX-5 ND. Just that a bit lighter. Maybe they change it to a hydraulic. I highly doubt it, but I guess it would be easier to use an hydraulic one than when it is electronic. But it's lighter, now you can feel the effects much better. Could go flat out here. The sounds much better as well. The car has some grunt now. Doesn't seem as, I don't know, boring as the MX-5 in terms of sounds. This one seems like more aggressive. And in terms of graphics, as you can see, oh, the sound outside is nice. In terms of graphics, nothing really to complain. Car looks fantastic. Great shaders, great details. With the roll bar and everything, everything seems to be Nicely done. I think I can brake a little bit later here. I would love to have a steering wheel like this one in the T300. But anyways, let's go to the next car. Okay, next up, RX-7 FD, 3S, Type R, whatever. Lots and lots of things. It's a very popular two-seater. Still, years after it was last built in 2002. Apparently it has 276 brake horse. But back then, with the Japanese gentleman agreements, everything in their mom had 276 brake horse. Even if it hadn't. It's also very popular because of Initial D. But anyways, I'll be just doing the check of the RX-7 street version. There's also a tuned version with 300 and a lot brake faster than this. Can basically drift it everywhere. There's a tuned version of that. You can check it out if you want. But this car, it's the one I'll be driving. Otherwise, this video will have like 50 minutes. Now this car, for me, is very interesting. Like the MX-5, it's easy to control. But it has a few things that are worth noticing in terms of the handling, is that the rear kind of loses grip sometimes. As in, you're doing like high-speed corners and then you lose the grip on the rear. You won't be seeing that much here in Harugahara, because there aren't really that much high-speed sections with high-speed corners. Drifts very well, even with semi-slicks. Now, the force feedback, it's completely different from the MX-5. It doesn't seem that it has the same type of force feedback. The steering column seems to be different because it doesn't have the same force throughout the range of movement. Here it seems more like you have a small dead center and then progressively gets harder to turn. I kind of like that because I do like hydraulic steering. So it's your basically power steering, I guess. It's hard to speak when you're doing a toge. And because of this, you can feel the effects very well. There are some sections, especially in the beginning, with speed bumps, and you do feel the speed bumps going over your tires. Was a nice handbrake maneuver there. No, not much power over there. This car doesn't have any power in the mid-range, but here we have it, the end of Harugahara. Let's go to the next car. Alrighty, here we are with the Supra Mark IV. Oh, that's a bit damaged there. That's fine. Doing Shuto C1 Expressway. Maybe time for some one gun midnight or whatever. In a Japanese DLC, you'll find the stock version that I'm driving, you'll find a drift version, and also a time attack version, which is completely bonkers. Really fast. But I think, considering what this car is in Assetto Corsa, this car is more suited to a track like this with high-speed corners than it is in a Toge. The reason why is that, even though the car handles well, it's the weight of the car. It's a heavy car at 1500 kilos. It's the weight of the car that kind of throws everything down for it. High-speed corners are done effortlessly almost with it, but when you have to throw the weight around hairpin or a tight bend, it's gonna be hard to maintain control of this car in the line or in the line you want, because there's too much weight being thrown around. Even here, do I have the traction control on? Now it's off. Even there was a bit of understeer because of the weight. But the car itself, high-speed corners like this, it's almost effortless. Grips well, accelerates very well out of the corner. This is a fast car in basically any standard, even modern standards. This would be a fast car. It says it has 280 brake, but I guess it has a little bit more than that. The force feedback has the same dead zone area with the weight. There's no weight in the center, but it progressively gets more weight when you turn the wheel. I like that. I always like that. Makes me feel that I'm driving a real car. Let's go brake here. Okay, wasn't that fast that corner. As for sounds, I don't like it. The real car has a much better sounding soundtrack than this. And as for graphics, it's Assetto Corsa cars, as you know. Whoa! Assetto Corsa cars are absolutely amazing in terms of graphics. Really like them. I just wish they had like a better sound engine, because everything else is fine. Anyways, let's go to the next car. Now this is the car that pretty much everyone is looking for when they buy the Japanese DLC. The 86 tunes. You also get the stock 86, and you get the drift version as well. So there's lots of content there for you to try out. But in my opinion, this is the best car out of all the all A86s. This is the car that I drive the most, and I think the combo with the Akina downhill mods that you can find on the internet makes it so perfect. While not being a hard car to drive, it's hard to master. There's no ABS, there's no traction control. So you'll end up learning a bit about weight transfer, if you drive with a clutch. Learn to heel toe, you'll need it. You can learn to drift with this car. Not like this. This was a bad entry. It's a playful little thing. The weight transfers on this car under braking are sublime. You can do so many things to it. The car is controllable, but you might need to adjust some settings, especially on the differential. But when you get your settings right, you can basically either grip this, or you can do whatever you want, especially on the tuned version. The steering is heavy-ish. It's heavier than the other ones. It's heavier than the Supra. It's heavier than the RX-7. It's heavier than the Cup. It's not as heavy as the MX-5 ND, but it has that little thing, the dead zone in the middle. It's not really a dead zone, it's just, it's not as heavy in the center line, and then when you start changing the steering angle, it will pick up some weight. I like the force feedback on this car. It feels natural. Now, in terms of sounds, Kunos should just release an update to sounds like to this car. It's so bad. Car is annoying in terms of sounds. Outside, it sounds well. Sounds like it has a cherry bomb or something. But inside, it's just obnoxious. Graphics-wise, I like it. It's just that Kunos thing with the old DLC, especially. They don't really sound good. Or the old cars. Only a few cars sound good. This isn't one of them. If you're looking for a car that gives you a lot of driving pleasure, try this one when you get the DLC. If you get the DLC, of course. But anyways, let's go to the next car. So here we have it, the Nissan 370Z. I was going to say RX-7. No, this is a 370Z. This is a heavy base, 1500 kilos. $350 brake. The car being so heavy, just like the Supra, it's more suitable for circuit driving, especially this one. Since it has such a big tire tread, or tire width, I mean, the car has a lot of lateral grip. Counteracts the understeer given by the weight. It's not a sluggish car, but it's not the nimblest. This is more of a GT car than a tollgate car, so it's suitable for a track like this with fast corners, where it's gonna struggle a bit. It's with slow corners, just like that chicane coming over there. That's the GP chicane, so I have to brake kind of here, but you do see it. So I I started braking in the 150 mark. It wasn't enough to stop this car. The car also doesn't really like changes of momentum within corners. That means you have to brake in a straight line. You can't really adjust brake position in a corner, especially in slow to medium fast corners, just like the one before the straight, that last straight, or even this one, because it will rotate to the direction you're turning into if you brake too much. And if you accelerate too much, make sure that you understand how counter steer works, because you're gonna need it. There's so much torque in this car. If I just plant the foot, the car goes sideways. And I really don't need to plant the foot. It's just like halfway throttle in some cases. The car will go sideways because it has so much throttle, so much torque, I mean. And if you're doing like a 5-10 lap race, after just 3 or 4 laps, those tires will start losing grip and you will start having trouble. So I'm braking now at 170, braking hard, and now it's fine. Brake in a straight line, go in, dozy your throttle, keep inside, go outside, past the apex you can plant it. I mean, it's not a car that I usually drive. I don't really enjoy this type of heavy cars. That's my experience, but it is a model that can keep up with different cars. But as long as it is in a fast circuit with not a lot of slow corners, otherwise this is gonna have some trouble keeping up with nimbler cars, even though those cars might have less power. I've tried this in Acuna before against a 86 tunes. The 86 tune is basically 3 to 4 seconds slower with the same tires, maybe a little bit less, but if you drop the tires to streets on this one, it will become so much slower than the 86, it's not even funny. So I guess if you know how to play 86 on Acuna, you, even with both cars semi-slicks, you will get away with it, as long as you know how to corner that car, because this is a heavy car and you can take advantage of it. Whoa! Too heavy. Anyways, guys, you get the picture about this car. Let's go to the next one. The last car of the pack, if I exclude, of course, the other ones that I haven't checked out, is the Nissan R34 Skyline. Another very popular car, JDM car. And it's the only one here with a 4-wheel drive system. The Tesla S whatever. 325 brake. Over 1500 kilos, so it's also an heavy beast. But even though it's less powerful and heavier than the other Nissan, the 370Z, this car is more playful. Do I have the traction control? Okay, now it's off. There's 2 ways of driving this car, and driving with the traction control on kinda sucks, in my opinion. Traction control off, you get the car a little more raw, but in comparison to the Nissan GT-R R35, if I drive that car with the traction control off, I can't control it. But this one becomes a riot when turn the control off. And it took me a while to try that out, because I always thought, oh, you have to drive this car with the traction control on. And with the traction control on, I hate this car. Okay, physics-wise, playful little car. Well, playful big car. Especially here at Nordschleife. Can actually drift this, but I don't think it's a good car to drift. You can drift it, but I don't think it's a good car to drift in this setup. It revs mad high, but the power peaks out at around 7. And you feel the engine struggling to keep up. But after a lap around here, the tires, the 4 corners will be completely wrecked because of the weight of the car and because how you need to corner it to be fast. Because also the weight, lateral grip in fast corners, it's not that good. It will grip on fast corners anyways. But the lateral grip will make sure that the car will understeer slightly in fast corners. In slower corners like this one, you have to brake earlier as well. But this car brakes better than the 370Z. And goes into corners better than the 370Z. Steering wise, I like it. Force feedback is nice. Heavier. When you turn the car around maybe 75 degrees, when you turn the steering around maybe 75 degrees, becomes progressively heavier. Very heavy after 75 degrees actually. You feel the effects nicely as well, the bumps, the rails, if you hit one. Feel pretty much everything. Now this bump over here, you do feel it. You do feel the grass and all that stuff. Kind of maxes out at around 200s, I guess, in this section. Graphics wise, nothing to complain. It's a beautiful car, beautiful model, and sound wise, I think this is the best car out of this pack. It's the only one that I can really hear for a lot of time from this pack. All others, maybe exception with the MX-5 Cup, are a bit boring, to be fair, if I'm honest. And that's basically it with all the cars. To sum up, I'll give you my opinion of the DLC itself, not just individual cars. And if you consider that at the moment this is around £4 or $5, I think that's the value in the United States, and you'll get 6 models and 12 cars in total, I think it's a pretty good deal. In my opinion, there are only 2 essential DLCs for ASSETTO Corsa. The first one will be the Porsche DLC, which is separated in 3 parts in this one. The Japanese DLC, I think it's the second essential. The reason is because the cost is so low and the cars are good and they are used basically by everybody. If you are on a tight budget and you want content for ASSETTO Corsa and you need to maximize your bang for the buck, the Japanese DLC I believe is the best option for you. Because essentially you get the 12 different cars and pretty much all the models are used in multiplayer. You'll buy it and you'll keep up using it. It's not like the Dream Pack DLCs where you buy it and you only use like 2 or 3 models if so, because you need the GT3 cars or the GT2 cars and everything else is basically garbage. Japanese car DLC, it's not like that. You buy it and you'll be driving pretty much 90% of all of this stuff anyways. And if you can wait for the Steam sales, it'll get a 25 to 33% discount on the market price, which will make it even a better deal. Anyways guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this content. I think the Japanese DLC deserved something like this. If you did like this video, don't forget to press that button, subscribe below. I'll be uploading more of this stuff and the ASSETTO CORSA videos. Also check the videos on your right side, I think you're gonna like them. Once again, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next time.